Hi everyone, my name is Hayley Reichert. I am a South African living abroad and I am running an initiative called operationwatershed.com. You can go have a look at the website. There is some civic education, information about political parties, information about how to register, how to vote. I just want to run through the new online overseas voter registration portal in this video, but you're more than welcome if you've got any other questions or if you've got any questions about voting abroad, you can contact me via that website, or all my social media handles are Safa Hayley. So it's linkedin.com or facebook.com/Safa Hayley, Twitter @Safa Hayley, that kind of thing. You're more than welcome to contact me on any social media platform. So on Wednesday, the 6th of December, the IEC issued a media statement with providing a link and saying that the online overseas voter registration portal is now available. There has been a 2-month delay. It is still in beta mode. It is a little bit glitchy, but I'll just run through a couple of issues that have cropped up. It is, first of all, foremost, the link is different to the South African portal. So the link you need to go to is online.elections.org.za/voter portal. And I'll explain why it's different to the one in South Africa. So the one in South Africa asks for a South African mobile number and it sends a one-time PIN to that number to verify you are the person actually busy with that application to register. We obviously can't do that abroad. This, and because the loss of citizenship issue has not yet been finalized through the Constitutional Court, the IEC and Home Affairs need to validate that we are in fact valid South Africans, that we haven't lost our citizenship in order to be able to vote. So this portal asks for us to upload our ID and our passport. There is, if you can, before you go on to actually fill in your details, there is a user guide on the website. If you can please have a look at it. They do require, for example, a bit of a white space around each document. So you can't do like a white sheet with your document being this big. You know, you need to look at those user guides, make sure you get it correctly. Otherwise, it's going to cause you a bit of frustration. So don't take photos of it, rather scan. If you don't have a scanner, there's an app called Cam Scanner you can use. So basically just make sure that there's no reflections, no shadows, that it's not blurry. All of those kind of things are going to reject your documents. So when you upload each document, it runs through a verification process and it will tell you if it has verified and if it accepts the document or not. You might find it a little bit tricky. Also, the website is a little bit glitchy in that it's taking a bit of time. So it seems like it's hanging or like it's stuck or it times out. I know that a few people have said that it's taken them up to an hour to go through the process and register. I do have a direct line of communication with the Chief Electoral Officer and the GM for Electoral Matters. And I have raised these issues with them and it is something that they're going to look into on their side. So once you've submitted that application, you should receive an email. It might take a few minutes to come through, that basically so you know that they have received your application. It usually takes a little while for them to check it. So you might want to give, I will double check on the length of time with them. It might be a couple of days, might be up to a week. And then you can log on to the website, the normal elections.org.za website, and check your voter registration status and check that you have actually registered correctly and that you are showing on the voters roll. So with regards to updating your details, so if you've moved from one country to another, if you've moved from South Africa abroad and your voting station is different to the one that you intend on voting in 2024, basically you need to re-register on this new system and update and upload your details. And some of you might have already applied for new documents or you intend on applying for new documents. Which means you cannot register right now. So if you're waiting for documents to come in, we should have until early February to be able to register. So those of you that are waiting for documents, hopefully you'll have them by then. And those of you who intend on applying for documents, it's going to be a little bit tricky because you have to have your documents with you when you register. Or when you re-register. If you are already registered and you are waiting for documents or you need to apply for new documents, don't worry, because after the date of elections has been announced by the president, which is usually early to mid-February, then the IEC will announce a window period for what is called a VEC 10 form, which there's a 2-week window period. You can log onto the elections.org website and you will be able to submit that form, which informs the IEC of your intent to vote abroad. So even if you can't physically change your details beforehand, you will be able to do it then. So hopefully, ideally, try and make sure you've got your documents by early to mid-February. There will be an in-person voter registration weekend at all foreign missions. There's 120 foreign missions around the world. It is the 26th to the 28th of January. And then the second voter registration weekend in South Africa is the 3rd and 4th of Feb. What usually happens is on or around the State of the Nation address, which is usually early to mid-Feb, so it will be shortly after the 3rd and 4th of February voter registration weekend. It's usually around the 6th to 10th of February is when the State of the Nation address happens. On or just after that is when the president will announce the date of elections. That is called a proclamation date. On that day, he makes that announcement, the voters' roll closes. So you have to be registered before that date. So don't leave it to the last minute, get it done now. Once he announces and the voters' roll closes, you can no longer register. So only those people who have registered will then be able to vote. After he announces that, the IEC will, at some point in the few weeks that follow, they will announce the window period for the VEC 10 form. The VEC 10 form, again, is it'll be on their normal elections.org.za website. You have that 2-week window period to notify them of your intent to vote abroad. So people who might be in South Africa, who might be abroad for work or travel, and who wish to vote at, for example, London, they will be able to notify the IEC in that 2-week window period. The IEC is working towards an election date of the 22nd of May. Elections can happen anytime between May to August, so we don't have a set date yet until the president announces it. So, but they are working towards the 22nd of May. So overseas voters, we typically vote 10 to 14 days before that, and that is to ensure that our votes go through the diplomatic process and get back in time to be counted. So what I would suggest is, anyone who intends to vote abroad, please make sure that you have your ID book or smart card and that your passport is valid for the entire time from May to August, just in case there's a delay on when the elections happen. I am still waiting a response. I emailed the GM yesterday with regards to what happens if you are ordinarily abroad, but for whatever reason you will be in South Africa around the election period, and how you can then change your voting station from being abroad, or if you're still registered somewhere else in South Africa, how you can change it to wherever you're going to be in South Africa. So I will keep you guys updated on that and any other questions that crop up. Just to give you a couple of numbers, so in 2019, there were 39,000 South Africans who registered, but only 19,000 who voted abroad. Now, basically, the number, so there's 400 seats in Parliament. Those of us abroad, by the way, we only get the national ballot. We don't get provincial or local ballots because we don't live in one of the 9 provinces in the country. And also our vote is the reason for having to submit that VEC 10 form. Our vote is deemed a special vote. So basically what you do is you take the whole total number of votes, so however many people turn out to vote, and obviously getting rid of any votes that are invalid. The total number of votes divided by 400 will give you a figure of, depending on the voter turnout, it could be 45,000, 50, 55, 60, 65,000, which is how many votes is needed to allocate 1 seat in Parliament. If there's 2 million of us abroad, if there are 750,000 that register and 350,000 roughly that turn out to vote abroad, that could give between 4 to 6 MPs at national level. So if you're thinking about voting for any particular party, talk to your friends, family, because those numbers do add up. And ultimately to get an MP from the party, your chosen party or independent candidate into national parliament, you're going to need, again, it depends on voter turnouts, but you're going to need anywhere between, say, 45 to 65,000 votes per MP. So if you have any questions, if you have any issues with registering, any questions about the parties, I do speak to a lot of the opposition leaders in particular. Anything you need to know about voting, registering, political parties, why you should vote, does your vote actually count, how else you can be an active citizen, in what other ways besides just voting we can contribute towards driving change in South Africa. Any of that, again, please do contact me. All my social media handles are Safa Haley, SAFFAHAYLEY, or the website operationwatershed.com.